The Share Pickers Weekend Podcast with Justin, Paddy, Peter and Steve. The content of this podcast is not intended as investment advice. It is for information purposes only. People in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Welcome to the Weekend Podcast. I'm joined today by Steve. You all right, Steve?
Hello. Just me today, is it?
Yeah.
Apparently, Paddy? Has he not come in?
Paddy hasn't even replied. How rude. How rude of him. And Peter's in Portugal. Apparently, that's what he says. He's everywhere. He's in West Wales, in Portugal.
He doesn't like being in the UK very much, does he?
Where did you just be? Where were you just recently?
Where was I? Malta.
Malta, yeah, that's right. Yeah. And yes, do you know, I've been looking at a video online, on Twitter, of Nigel Farage getting wound up, calling the banks woke.
What does he do now?
I don't know. I just stirs up a fuss, I think, and creates a bit of controversy. But,
that's all he does, isn't it? In life, generally.
I know. But Coutts, have you read about that? What happened with Coutts, the bank?
No.
Well, they cancelled his account. You know Coutts? Have you heard of Coutts, the bank?
No, I haven't. No.
Haven't you? Steve, and you should say yes.
Is it like one of these cool, like Monzo kind of banks?
No, it's a really old bank. It's the Bank of the Queen, and it's a really posh bank, apparently. Coutts.
They should have gone with Bank of the Queen, really. That would have been a bit more catchy.
Yeah. But it's like Coutts doesn't really sound that posh, does it? But, Farage, basically, they closed his account. And they said it's because you've got to have a certain balance in there. I think you have £1 million in the current account, or 3 million assets or something. And so they closed the account saying, and it turned out they didn't really like him. That's what it comes down to. Obviously, he finished paying his mortgage, apparently. And they closed the account. And there was some people said it literally, they said it was a connection because he retweeted Ricky Gervais's joke about trans women and his friendship with tennis player Novak Djokovic and connections to Russia. They didn't like him about it. So political banks, you can't do that. Coutts as a name, Coutts doesn't sound that posh, does it?
Sounds like a disease or something.
I know.
I've got the Coutts.
You've got the Coutts. They can't come out, Steve. You've got the Coutts. It's a terrible case of them he's got. You can't sit down. Literally, I know. Well, I was just thinking, what would be a more appropriate posh name? I tell you, a posh brand. What are posh brands?
Bank of the Queen, as I said, that would have been perfect.
I tell you what's a posh brand, Steve. Molten Brown.
You still go on about that, don't you?
Do you remember that? I stayed at Steve's house, and I jumped in the shower, and I came downstairs, and Steve came down. You use outraged. You use my Molten Brown. What? My Molten Brown. So, well, I don't know, what is that?
It's not the fact you used it. You used it like it was Tesco's own brand. You
didn't want me to touch it. You wanted special occasions for yourself in the shower.
Oh, yeah.
When did you actually use that? Because there was other shower gel there. I didn't realise. I thought, I'll try that. It looks a bit fancy. And, I saved that for... You were like single at the time. What period? Which special events would you use that for? How would you treat yourself?
Saturday nights. It was tender on the skin, It's like 20 quid a bottle. That's why I got a bit funny about it. I was like, and you were just putting it on just for a Sunday morning.
Sorry,
if it was Saturday night, like I was going out to impress the ladies, I would have been fair enough. But it was just a Sunday.
You come on stage. You use my Molten Brown.
I don't buy it anymore.
What do you want to know? Rip off. But no, I think a bank, it's odd for a bank to get rid of you because you're not the right kind of customer for the image, Why do they draw the line on that? I mean, even the bank, if you've got money in the bank, which is surplus in his current account, he says, and they shut it down. Not really that. Coutts doesn't sound very posh, right? It's owned by NatWest. So how could it be posh? It's not posh, really, is it? But that is they got themselves in a bit of trouble now. Now the boss, the banking boss, Dame Alison Rose, apologised to Farage now for deeply inappropriate comments made about him in the papers on his suitability as a Coutts customer. And,
they didn't really have to apologise, though, did they? I don't think many people are going to be up in arms about this.
No, I bet people are loving it when he was cancelled from that bank, and then all of a sudden now they've. But it is wrong, Banking should be available for all. It shouldn't be, for posh people and all that. So you've got to be a £1 million bank. Why? You're a bank.
Yeah.
Whichever money you put in, you loaned out. Anyways, it's all dirty bloody loans and all that stuff, isn't it? It's all dirty money.
I think it'd be suited more to a Tesco bank, I reckon.
Yeah, but they should have used a different excuse because they could be political. They should have said, like, no, we got you imagine if you went into a bank, Steve, and they cancel your bank account, and they said to you, oh, sorry, Mr. Martin, we've cancelled your account because we don't like your side parting.
I wouldn't really care, to be honest. I'd just move on to the next bank.
What I say, yeah. Would you change your hairstyle, though? Okay,
maybe, yeah.
Before I go into this one, I'll just send a part in. Yeah.
Might make me a bit conscious next time I open a new bank.
Yeah.
Probably sway it to the side.
Banks, yeah. So anyway, but I should check out the banks. But been keeping an eye on the market. Anything stick out to you? Still now, is it always been like this? Seems to me that currently or recently, there's been more financial news on the mainstream news, hasn't there?
I haven't really been watching the news much recently. It's all a bit depressing. I'm kind of staying away from it now.
Yeah, I've often wondered that. Just to switch off everything. Would you be a happier person, Not you, I mean, generally. I mean, because we tend to obsess with the news and keeping up with the news.
Well, when you think about it, I think it was during COVID, I was looking at the news, and generally every story is a negative story. Very rarely do you see a positive story in the news now. And I'm like, why would people want to read about negative things all day long? It's just not good for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't tend to look at it as... I will every now and then, but it's just, not regularly now.
Well, I think if the goal in life is happiness, right, and that maybe should be the goal, then why do we need to read about negativity all the time? And why do we need to keep up with the news? Because the news is abnormal news. It doesn't make the news because it's normal. It's things that happen that are extreme and shock you and scare you.
I'm going to give you an example now. So the top story is that Farage story we were just talking about. Then we've got UK responds after Russia imposes restrictions. Yeah, not very new. Then you've got Big Cat is on the loose and people fear their pet dogs are ideal lion feed.
That's a bit of a change, isn't it? Normally dogs are chasing cats.
Exactly, yeah. NHS strikes, thief who stole 200... Yeah, I just don't care. It's just all negative. Nothing nice. Gang rape, no, that's not positive.
You're right.
Just pointing that one out.
I don't think you needed to point that out. The extra detail. Yeah. Oh, there we are. There's a good one. There's a good story. But I know what you mean. But you know what I'm saying, though? To feel like we should on the treadmill of having to keep up with the news, being clever the next guy, or being well informed. I mean, it would be nice to just get off the grid and see. Maybe you'd focus on other real things in life that are more important, like the nature and all that stuff. But then you get climate change. Again, all that's negative. We're going to dying, stop all protesters, existential threat to our lives. But I mean, just switch off completely and just appreciate what's around us at the moment, what we got, not what we haven't got, what we strive to get, what we actually have. Appreciation. That's the key, isn't it, I suppose? But anyway, back to the news. So you didn't see any of the inflation figures, Steve, did you?
No, I did briefly hear. I think you told me that, actually. So it's briefly slowed down. Is that right?
When did I tell you that?
Or maybe I did read it in the news.
Oh, no, in WhatsApp, was it? Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
WhatsApp, yeah.
Yeah, so on like Wednesday, right, the figures for our inflation came out. And it was a bit like, it reminded me a little bit of... And I've said this a couple of times, Vaccine Day, 9th November 2020, when Pfizer came out with a vaccine for COVID. And before that, we didn't have any vaccine. And the markets rallied because everything was going to be shut down. And they all rallied. A huge liquidity came in the markets. And that happened, a smaller version of that, UK version of that. And the week before that, actually, American CPI figures came out and the same thing kind of happened. And I do now, I think we are seeing, I believe, the start of the end of the bear market. Does that make sense? Start of the end of the bear market.
I still think it's a long way off.
Why?
Because if I say that, it might come quicker.
Yeah, but do you think that? Why do you think it's a long way off?
Well, just nothing's really... I get, actually, yeah, because actually we go into a bear market before things start getting better in the news, don't they? So maybe it is. I don't know. I don't understand it, if I'm honest. So it just doesn't feel like it... It doesn't feel like it's going to get any better. If it's been so long, it just feels like this is it forever now, doesn't it? Yeah,
that's it. See, that's why people switch off and just sell at the bottom because they can't handle it anymore. But, the darkest hour... What's the saying about the darkest hour? Is before...
It's dark.
Yeah, but the darkest hour comes before... The dawn becomes for the darkest hour. Is that right? Yeah, it's true, isn't it, I suppose? dark side, it's actually lighter after that, doesn't it? So this is what I mean. By the way, just as a definition, bear markets are 20% drop from the high, okay? So that happened like literally, I'd say 18 months ago, pretty much. And a bull market is a 20% rise from the low. Now, we're nowhere near that, but I think now we're off the bottom. And we may have to go sideways for a while, but I think we're going up. And the reason why I say this, because of inflation figures this week, and it's the first time we've had inflation drop this much. CPI, which is the general, top line sort of consumer price index, year on year to June. This is so it's last June compared to this June, and they've dropped by 7 point. Well, it's now 7.9%. That's how much the price has gone up. And if that was, they were forecasting to come in at 8.2, so it's below that. And previously it was 8.7. And even it was what's called a Core CPI, which the Bank of England pay attention to. Even that dropped, and that wasn't forecast to drop. It dropped to 6.9%. Forecast to stay at 7.1%. So year-on-year figures these are, of course, and we start seeing the dropping out now because the peak of all of that was a year ago. So we'll start seeing that coming down. And next couple of months, it'll be coming down and likely to get better. But even, what's a good one, and no one pays attention to too much, is the PPI. Do you know what the PPI is, Steve?
Personal protection income.
It's close. It's the... people are keeping an eye on that. Do you remember PPI? God, that was everywhere, wasn't it? That was like with COVID, you get texts and phone calls and all that, emails, PPI, adverts on telly. The producer price index, that's all the stuff that goes into the factories, all the raw materials, all the semi-finished stuff before it gets produced up. That's actually dropped into negative, minus 2.7%, and that leads every other inflation figure. So that's a good sign. So input costs fall. That's why I think, and this is why I've heard people say, no, the economy's going to be bad for a while because interest rates are high. Yeah, I know, but don't confuse the market with the economy, because if the economy gets a bit weaker, it's good for the market. Do you know why, Steve?
Because people will lower prices and people will spend more.
No.
Go on then.
Well, essentially, if people are being squeezed, they spend less, don't they? People spend less is sold. Okay, so there's a surplus of goods. There's less demand. Less demand, less is produced. And if you want to buy, less you buy of the commodities, whatever, of course the prices go down. It's all about supply and demand, isn't it? So if supply is constant, or it's flexible, but demand goes down, then of course the prices go down. So that's good. So
do you think this will happen though? Because all companies seem to be giving everyone pay rises to reflect the cost of living. Mm-hmm. So what happens? The companies aren't going to suddenly be able to bring their costs down though, surely, because that means they're going to have to reduce people's salaries, which wouldn't happen.
Or they lay them off.
Okay.
And that even reduces even more demand. You see, and they get a slack labour force, which means there's plenty of people looking for jobs. And when you get that, you're not going to have high wage demand because you can only up wages. Like I said, if you can't find replacements for people or that stuff like that, this is a really tight labour force. Then you have to. If you can't attract the staff, you have to raise the wages, isn't you? And at the moment, a lot of people's wage increase is still below real inflation. They're not sort of earning any more. But it gets to a stage where if prices come down, they're not going to give you a pay rise that's above inflation. If the inflation is 5%, they'll only be 7% pay rises because why? It shouldn't be happening. So do you think?
Yeah. So do you think like things like supermarkets and the cost of food and stuff? Do you think that will come back down ever, or do you think now that this is it? This is the price of supermarket shopping now, like literally 50% more than it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's hard to say. They said I've noticed some. I was listening to. It was a news report somewhere, and some guy said he's noticed the price of butter coming down. But of course, it's not. It's settling at a level that's still higher than it was 12 months ago. But that's the nature of inflation. So everything goes up with time anyway. I mean, even the central bank's target rate is 2%. So no, it won't go back below where it was like 18 months ago. But it'll stabilise. So it'll say it's gone up. Say 20%. It'll settle a little bit. So it'll come back a little bit, but it'll still be higher than it was. I mean, let's be honest, petrol prices, diesel prices, never go back to 1980s levels, will they? They always go up in the end. So, and wages should reflect that largely inflation.
Yeah.
But yeah. So essentially, if the Bank of England see inflation come down, they're hopefully not going to raise interest rates, because interest rates have a huge lag effect. They say you won't know the actual effect to these rate hikes until you're 12, 18 months on the line. And we haven't had them up this high. They've only just, there's only last sort of 6 months, they've gone really above historical highs, so it's, above 3%. So they have to, I think the bank may even, I don't know if they're going to pause or maybe do a smaller rate rise. And of course, eventually, if the economy starts slowing down, then the bank are not going to keep putting interest rates up if inflation is going down. So the best case scenario is inflation is slowing down and economic activity is slowing down, because that means the bank will probably then have to put in reverse a bit, track interest rates down and say, we need to stimulate the economy a bit, because I think banks, I think they've gone too far. You may see, if prices go down, Steve, that's called deflation. And that's worrying, because banks, no one wants deflation, do they? Apart from consumers, but
well, it'd be nice if the prices went down on things a little bit. But there we go.
Yeah, it will a little bit. I mean, if you get deflation, like I said, people won't buy anything. Well, you buy essentials, but that's why they won't. But the things you don't need to buy, deflation, you won't buy anything. You say, well, it'll be cheaper in a year's time. I'll wait till then. And all of a sudden,
I'm on about food. I'm not going to wait a year to buy food.
You literally have deflation in your body, then, Steve, and you're fat.
Yeah. Actually, that's probably not a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, would you say you still overeat?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know it's hard, isn't it? Isn't it odd that? Isn't very few people undereat, do they? Maybe the food is too tasty, you think? Generally.
Oh, that's my problem, yeah. Yeah.
That's my problem, yeah. What's your problem, sorry?
I'm just thinking about food then. I've just lost my train of thought. I've got some crunchy ice creams in the freezer. I might have one after, actually.
Yeah, that's my problem, yeah. Homer Simpson. Dribbling at the but that's it, isn't it? Do you think that's it? Maybe we should start eating less healthy food. We wouldn't be turned on by it, but it's almost healthy food out there. Salt and sugar. Tastiest things around, both killers. Salt and sugar, both of them. Either way, they kill you, both ways. But without those two things, now they even got salted caramel cornettos. Have you got those, Steve? They're nice.
I'm a big fan of the salted caramel.
No, really? Oof. Got to be both salt and sugar. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. The inflation figures, I don't think now are getting any worse, because the comparisons, are getting better, and the economy slowing down a bit. And the economy slowing down shouldn't scare you, as in stock market prices, because the market has sold off for 18 months, nearly 2 years. What was the market selling off for? It was predicting this. It's not going to fall by another 40%. It's done. And now what the market is looking for is, okay, is it getting less worse? Because that, like I say, we've gone past the darkest hour. The dawn is starting to come out a little bit now, because it's getting a little bit better as far as inflation is concerned. And so the central banks can take their foot off the gas a bit before they smash into the tree in the woods somewhere, because they've gone off the road. They're going too fast. They're going a country lane. That's what's happening. It's like the central bankers are on the car, skidding around in the country lane, going too fast. Sooner or later, they have to slow down. They're going to smack into a tree. They don't want that. Andrew Bailey, through the windscreen, his head in the middle of an oak tree. That's not good for the economy. I couldn't make that analogy work, really. I just saw it funny. There's four or five central bankers in a car skidding down a country lane when you know you're out of control. Overcorrecting the car a bit. And anyway, did you see any news this week, Steve? I tell you what's taking a bit of a hammer. It's annoying, isn't it? XP Factory. That's done a bit, isn't it?
Is it? I just thought it was flat at the moment. It's just stayed around the 17 to 20p, hasn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it's in the range. It is in that range.
It hasn't really moved.
But it's like...
I guess if you're checking it regularly, it probably has, but I guess... I don't really check it much now. Was it on now? It's on... 16.50. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, it's gone down 5% today, or 4.5%.
It's annoying, but it is in that sort of... I'm looking at the chart here. It does dip to that, and then all of a sudden you get it'll bounce back up, but sooner or later it'll bounce up. They need to release some more news. They're quite quiet, and they've just announced. I've seen they've opened a Boom Battle bar in Dubai, and they've opened a new escape hunt room. Is it in Woking? I think Woking
in Dubai. Is that a franchise?
Yeah, is it? I don't know if it was. Yes, maybe I think it is. But they're branching out. I think they should go to America. I think Boom Battle Bar in America would do really well. You?
I went to one last Saturday actually up in Edinburgh.
Well, you had a Boom Battle Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why were you in Edinburgh?
Stag weekend.
Oh, okay. Any good?
And and I suggested we go to Boom Battle Bar, so they went there. So that was good.
Did you play lots of?
We did the axe throwing and we did the crazy golf because they had in that when they've got crazy golf and a little bit of shuffleboard, but not much. There's quite a lot of this. Doesn't really work in big group shuffleboard.
Yeah. Did you have fun, Steve? What time of day did you go there in Boom Battle Bar? Was it busyish?
What day was it? It was on a Saturday night. We went there about 7 o'clock. Yeah, no, it was very busy in there actually.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's
they actually had a live DJ in there, like literally smashing the tunes out. So it was actually kind of a bit more of a clubby atmosphere in there. It was quite good.
Yeah, that is good.
I liked it.
Do you know, as we go through generations, right, we look for more. Like, if you notice what we were, content with as kids, and then compared to the kids of today, you want more and more, didn't you? So then now they've got like these, if you look at if you'd taken a smartphone back 20 years, 25 years even, it looks like a piece of magical genius, doesn't it? You think, what is this? How is this working? I don't understand this. 3D images pretty much in a small little thin plastic metal thing. What is that? And like now, you just take it for granted the kids and they do what they want. And but I think the same with entertainment as well. You go forward, we're not okay. It's okay to sit in a bar now and again, but sometimes you just want a bit more, don't you? And having a bit of fun, playing games. That's part of it, isn't it? Gone are the times where it's okay to just have a dartboard in the corner. Now you can have all different virtual reality darts. You can have axe throwing, shuffleboards. Just want more. I mean, where does this all end, though? We wanted more. It's the trouble. But anyway, what I'm saying is, I think it's a trend. Social gaming was it competitive socialising. It's a trend that's going to keep on going and going.
It's definitely the in thing at the moment. My only concern is unless they grow with it, it will get stagnant. So they just need to continue to be innovative, I guess.
Yeah,
and
but surely they'll have they'll see the popularity of certain games and the drop off in other games, and because they are all modular, basically, it's just swap them out quite easy, isn't it? You say, oh, this game is very good, this game's not, or this game's performing here, and this game's not.
Do you know what's quite good? We went to a bar in Edinburgh. I think I can't remember the name of the bar now. I think it was called Balls or something. Oh, yeah. But it was bar and it had a giant ball pit for adults. I thought that was quite cool. That was quite in.
Oh,
But it was one of those things. It was good for about 5 minutes.
That's
and then
it.
You're like, yeah.
That's the kind of thing I think would wear off very quickly. It's like they are knackering and they're not comfortable. They're just annoying a bit after a while. I've done that with kids, and like they are hard to get out of. And don't you get all drink all over everywhere? You're not allowed to take drink.
Well, no, you're not allowed to drink. Not take drinks. And
I was going to say that's going to be messy and sticky. That would. But,
yeah.
Anyway, no. I think. Listen, we're always going to want. I don't think it'll get boring because they change the games, but they get certain games will be around for years. Like the shuffleboard has been around for years. It's a very good game. So is darts. So they don't get old, those games. But you can just switch it up a bit, can't you? A little bit here and there. But there we are. But I don't think it's a fad that'll go away soon. I think the good players, and because they're a listed company, they can swap it up. I
definitely think the Boom Battle side is the more profitable part of the business over the escape rooms.
Well,
mind you,
I'm
not a big fan of escape rooms, so I'm probably not the right person to talk about escape rooms.
There's a loyal escape room fan base, and also the margins are better because there's less. There's no food and beverage. There's not. I'm recording. There's food and beverage there. There's less overheads there because there's games in. There's nothing you have to spend and buy and sell.
Well, the Edinburgh one had the escape hunt inside Boom Battle Bar. So Boom Battle Bar was the main arena, effectively room, and then you just had like back rooms, which were the escape hunt in the same building. Yeah,
joint location. Yeah, see, they're good those. Okay. Was any of the news from things that this? In a Destiny Farmers TV. Listen, now there's got a new CEO, Steve. I think you should have a little dabble, just a little dabble.
I don't have any money to dabble with.
I'm talking, nothing, just a little couple of pence. Do your
I
research,
literally
of course.
I have zero money in my portfolio, in my cash. So.
Okay. Can you sell your bod? Do a bit more work, bouncing work, whatever you do. Yeah, so anyway, listen, they've got a new guy, right? New guys. There was an issue with they got, to reiterate, 2 assets, big upside potential. The second asset hasn't got a deal on yet, but that's massive upside potential. Both going to phase 3, but then, on the anticipation of a deal on the first asset, the share price rose, doubled, and then they did a discounted fundraise. Now they don't have to do that again, but also the second asset, like I said, is twice the size, market potential, $2 billion market potential here. But then the CEO stepped down. I think it was over the fundraise, and just the people were very unhappy with it. Discount. I don't know what happened really, but they always, you never find out. They always say, "Oh, he's gone on to pursue other business interests." Really, you basically say, "Mate, leave now, or jump, or we push you." So anyway, so the interim CEO, Dr. Deborah Barker, who's very experienced, works with all the big guys, GSK, all these guys. I think she's Pfizer and all that, but Novartis. And she was interim CEO. I thought she may have been CEO, but a new guy in, Chris Tovey. He'll join the company as CEO on the 1st of September. And Chris, I didn't know too much about GW Pharmaceuticals, but it was a company listed on AIM, GW Pharmaceuticals, in 2001, I think. It got acquired by a company called Jazz Pharmaceuticals in America. And Chris was the chief operating officer of GW Pharmaceuticals. It got acquired for $7.2 billion. And they had 2 assets. And he's also got lots of experience at big pharma companies. And he's a deal maker. So I see this now doing very well over the next 12 months, Stephen. I mean, the Warriors out there, CEO's in. One thing is odd, the chairman has stepped down. The current chairman, I think he's maybe the new guy is bringing in his own chairman. I don't know, or his own team around him. I don't know, but maybe that's going to happen. Who knows? But in fact, the current chairman did say this new chairman is an excellent catch and critical. He said excellent sort of CEO. So it's very exciting, Steve, and it's very undervalued. Just to reiterate, I don't know of any company. I've never known of any company with this much upside, as in 3 separate brokers have given it like a £2.86 target. Where we're at now, we're at 29 pence. And so, Steve, it's going to be part of your thing.
It's all very good, but my new rule now is I don't invest in anything other than funds now. That's my new rule, I'm sticking to it.
You've been ravaged by the bear. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, partly that. And
I have as well. But never give up hope, Steve. Never give up hope, Some people have been locked away in prisons, innocently.
I'd just rather be a bit safer with my money now. Yeah, that's my kind of...
when you're locked in a prison, Steve, for 26 years like Nelson Mandela or someone, all you have is hope. You never give up hope, And look what the world gave to us in Nelson Mandela. So be Nelson Mandela, Steve. Have a bit of hope there, yeah? I know the bear's it's kicked us a lot, the bear. Nasty bear. In fact, of the 2, the bear or the bull, what is the more friendly-looking animal?
The more what?
The friendly.
Bull or the bear? Bull. I'd say the bear looks a bit more friendly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You give him a little stroke.
Yeah, especially panda bears. Bulls are quite aggressive. But there we are. Anything else? Anything else on stocks really, apart from some of my bigger stocks? Alpha Wave doing well, doing quite well. They're a chip maker. They're going to be the next ARM, I think. They're amazing. They've doubled their revenue every year for the last 5 years. They're going to be $1 billion revenue company in a couple of years' time. A bit bigger though. What else? We've started to watch the last few Successions. And
I'm still kind of getting through to the end, but.
Yeah, maybe not. But also, have you looked at the new BBC drama on Timothy Spall? It's called The Sixth Commandment.
No.
It's worth checking out because it's like it's a true story about this young man befriending an old university teacher, lecturer, and it's true life. It's just unbelievable how there are some evil people out there, Stevie. Do you want a joke?
Go on then.
I was thinking, honestly, in midweek, right? I was thinking maybe we should finish the podcast always on a joke. And I don't know why. I skipped on to a video. It was Bernard Manning on Mrs. Merton's show. And it wasn't very nice. I don't believe it as well. Richard, I don't know what his name is, Richard Wilson. Yeah. They didn't get on. And Bernard Manning is very rude, of course. He's dead now, anyway. And a lot of people say he's racist and stuff. But, they were trying to persuade him to, keep off the racism.
Did he make the sausages?
What?
Did he make the sausages?
Bernard Manning?
Yeah.
That's Bernard Matthews, you fool.
Okay, carry on.
Bernard Manning, big fat sort of Mancunian, and he did racist jokes, really old school.
No,
he was on Mrs. Merton's show. Mrs. Merton's dead as well, isn't she? Karen Hearn is dead as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, and they were trying to persuade him not to do the racism because he told us lots of good gags, And I thought, yeah, and he said, no, he said, I'll make fun of everyone. Okay. But he's like, no, you're missing the point, fella. But anyway, there was a good gag he did tell. It made me chuckle for a bit. This was it, right? So a man walks into a fish and chip shop and he has the fish and chips, goes out, comes back in 5 minutes later. He says, excuse me, mate. He said, yes. He said, the fish I just had, was it cooked? He said, yes, why? He said, is it normal chips?
That's a bit of a Tommy Cooper kind of joke, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but I quite like that. But like that. All right, Steve. Well, I hope you like that. Tell it to your friends. Tell it to your missus. Do you and your missus tell jokes to each other?
I'm not very good at remembering jokes. I'll probably forgotten that by tomorrow. So
that's a good one, that though, isn't it? How about this one then? A guy walks into a butcher's with a massive fish over his shoulders, huge fish, and he said to the other guy in the butcher's, "Do you sell fish cakes?" He said, "No, why?" He said, "Oh, it's a pity, it's his birthday."
That's quite good.
All right, cheers, Steve. Speak next week.
Bye.
The Share Pickers Weekend Podcast with Justin, Paddy, Peter and Steve. The content of this podcast is not intended as investment advice. It is for information purposes only. People in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.